history. You see, when you're on the right path, refuse to give up. We give up too easily because of media reports, of what family and friends. Let me tell you, family and friends do not make great business advisors. There's only a few that have done it, and maybe they're the ones we should listen to. Be careful who you're listening to. So some of the keys. Number one, if you've got pencil and paper, grab it. You know, if you're going to be educated and innovate, you should always come to anything prepared with pen and paper. So grab someone's shirt sleeve, if you don't have any, break their pen in half, whatever it is. And so there might be one thing today that's going to help and change, you know, your thinking. Number one, you need to start with a plan. Michelangelo said the greatest danger for us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but it's too low and we achieve it. If you shoot at nothing, you'll hit it every time. The book of Proverbs says without a vision, people perish or lose focus. And that's what happens in GFC, health issues, you know, family issues. We lose focus and our businesses suffer, and we never get it back because we move away, you know, from where we're going. 3 years ago, I pulled out of the day-to-day of Gloria Jeans to do a lot of speaking, and a few people approach me about consulting, which isn't a huge passion of mine, and I get absolutely frustrated, especially if they don't do, you know, what they should be doing. So we don't generally go for very long unless they put in action. But I had a company here in Norwest who regularly said, "Oh, will you come and mentor us," whatever that means. So I got there and they told me all the issues. Customers aren't paying them, they can't provide their supplies. I said, well, let's forget all that. They said, well, we can't. I said, let's forget all that. Where do you want to go with this business? So we talked about that. And I got them focused. That's all I talked about for an hour. And then the next month went back again. And the third month they said to me, we now get paid in 14 days. We've paid off all our suppliers. Because they approached it from where they're going. What they were doing was only focusing on the problems, and they got no solutions. Once we got them out of that environment and started to focus from a different perspective, they started to move forward in their business, and they're in a very expensive product category that people could easily put off for some time. And it makes no difference what category you're in. About 2 years ago, I had a wholesale tile company, 3 brothers, in my lounge room with the flip charts. And I said, where do you want to be in 3 years? Which is the first question I always ask people. Where do you want to be in 3 years? One of them said, I want to grow from 6 million a year to 10. I thought that was good. Because if they tell me they want to stay where they are, I said, forget it. I'm not going to do anything with you because you'll be out of business if you want to just stay where you are. Through cost increases and loss of clients, you know, you'll be out the back door very quickly. The other brother said to me, I want to grow from 6 to 50 million. I said, I'm with you. Because now, today, you're going to have to radically think different about your business. And you know, by the end of the day, which actually wasn't part of the process, but we got there anyway, by the end of the day, we had 2 radical ideas that would revolutionise their business. They would never have gone through that process if they just wanted to grow a bit. See, the radical thinking totally changed how they should do business. And I'm going to share in a moment some examples of companies that marketed differently during this whole GFC process, which wasn't discounting. So I suggest you find someone. There are probably people in this room, I mean, looking around, I can see David Brown over here with the blue shirt. Looks like he needs to go back to bed, but it's okay. He's someone who challenges your thinking in putting plans together. So there are probably people in the room, or if you know someone else, get someone who's going to challenge your thinking. Don't get traditional people who are just going to tick the boxes and make you think the same way. You've got to radically overhaul your business. So number one, you need a plan. Number 2, partners. You're going to have many partners on the journey. You haven't got time to share all the partners you will have. But number 1, if you want to get involved in business with business partners, because you need money, don't. First find out, do they share the passion and the vision? I've helped 3 companies that have gone into receivership or liquidation because the partners won't be in the same room together. The problem was solvable. It was simple. They refused to talk. So unless you're on the same boat, rowing in the same direction, you're in trouble. 3 young couples came to me about 18 months ago and said, we're going to get involved in business together. I said, how are you going to solve disagreements? They said, it's okay, we've never argued. I said, well, trust me, it's just about to start. So how are you going to sit down once a month and sort these out and decide and continue to challenge each other on the roles that each is going to have and what is the expectation? Number two, the other partners in this are staff. I had a franchisee in Perth that I sat with one day. He was always fairly miserable. I said, what's the problem today? He said, I've got this assistant manager who won't do what she's told. I said, she's going to have to, you have to talk to her. If she has to go, she has to go. He said, oh, I could never confront anyone. So I sat him down and said, this is how I would go about it. He still said after, no, I could never do it. I went back the next day for another reason. He rushed up to me, big grin on his face, and she said, she's gone. I said, how did you sleep? He said, like a baby. I said, what happened? He said, well, I sat her down and I went through a process that you described. She decided to leave. I watched his business over the next 6 months grow from $8,500 a week to $16,500. It doubled in size because one person was creating morale issues. And I can guarantee you in most businesses, there is one person who doesn't want to be there, who creates misery for everyone else. Now, they've either got to change or they've got to go somewhere else. Let them go somewhere else and be happy, or let them go somewhere else and destroy your competitor's business. Whatever it is. Getting the right people on the bus, like Jim Collins in his book says, in his Good to Great book. What took good companies to great companies, get the right people on the bus. And sometimes the bus has to stop and people have got to get off. Jimmy Durrani, an old comedian, was asked to entertain World War II veterans. He said he was too busy. Too many appointments. They pressured him and he decided to go. He said, I've come for about 2 or 3 minutes. He went on stage. He stayed for well over half an hour. After he came off the back of the stage, someone said, I thought you were busy. He said, yes, I am. I've got a lot of appointments. Why did you stay? They said. He said, well, have a look through the curtain in the front row. And in the front row were 2 World War II veterans. One had lost the left arm in the war. The other had lost the right arm in the war. But together they were clapping in time and enjoying the show. You see, when you lock arms together in your business, it will take you through difficulties and problems and people will want to do it. You see, many of you will probably remember in 2002 a fire that burnt our roasting plant, our warehouse in Anella Avenue on the other side of the Windsor Road. And our whole office, it's our only office, it burnt to the ground. We get a call at home at 8 minutes past midnight on October 3. Sue gets to the phone. I'm not good at that time of night. And she says, the warehouse is on fire. I said, thank goodness I'm dreaming. She said, you're not. So I jumped out of bed, we got changed, we got there, a trickle of smoke and only 3 fire engines. In an hour it was light. And the fire guys said after a couple of hours, you might as well go home, there's nothing you can do. So I got home and I said to Sue, I need to be back at 5:30. I just want to be there before 6 o'clock before the warehouse guy. I just feel I should be there before the staff arrive. Not sure what I'm going to say, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. My partner was overseas visiting the coffee growing regions because we buy direct from the growers so they get the full margin. So I didn't know where he was at that point, and it wasn't any good because my mobile phone didn't have any numbers in it. As I said, I'm not good technology wise. I've learned you need a few more numbers than 3. And I got a lot. And at 5:30, I got this, as I arrived there, I thought today's going to be a different day. There were now 31 fire engines, security, police, they blocked the main road, all the television news, helicopters, radio, everything was there. And at 5:30 I get this call from a courier in Newcastle. He said, I picked up 2 new store orders yesterday. Do you want me to bring the stock back? Well, the temptation is, yes, I need to get hold of that stock. And even in my tiredness, I thought to myself, no, we're going to open the 2 new stores tomorrow as a message that we're still going. I didn't really know the significance of that. At 6 o'clock, the roasting guys arrived before the warehouse guys. They hadn't heard the news. Their faces were down. We've lost our jobs, our mortgage. I said, it's okay, guys. The coffee's all roasted. I get really weird when I'm tired. They didn't laugh. The cleaner arrived, the lady. I said, you're going to need more than that. I said, guys, I'm trying to get on a roll here. So I rang one of our guys who was in bed. I said, get out, spend 30 seconds watching the news and get here. We need to divide the staff up as they arrive and get them out of here to my home, a neighbour's home. A friend from church came, loaned us his office, which we took over for a few weeks. And right after that, Channel 9 stick a mic and a camera in my face with the fire raging in the background and saying, you're obviously going to have to close. I said, no, See, 30 minutes before, I made a decision as a leader that has ongoing consequences. I said no, and it went out nationally. No, we're opening 2 new stores tomorrow. See, as a leader, you've got to make decisions not just for today, but what the impact is in the future. And getting the right people, like our staff who locked arms with us around the clock, and our franchisees, we rebuilt the business overnight. No store closed, sales went up. People were seeing the news coming in to support us, which is terrific. They could have waited 2 weeks. We had a bit more product. But we kept going and opened more stores between then and Christmas. You see, it's not about disaster recovery plans. It's about having the plan and the vision and not allowing any event to take you off course. You may interpret it differently on the journey, but having that vision and that focus, and the staff being partners will help you get there. Number 3, develop a yes face. When you get up in the morning and the alarm goes off, do you pitch it across the room or do you see it as an opportunity clock? By the time we get to the breakfast table or to work, all we've listened to is death, the destruction and the economy. No wonder we're miserable. So what I say to people, the eternal principle of sowing and reaping, what you watch, what you listen and what you read is going to have an impact on your thinking. I had another business guy in the financial market, a young guy, who said to me, "This is the worst recession I've been through." And I said, "You're not old enough to have been through any others." I said, "I've been through, unfortunately, a lot, and I'm still here today." It was like a wake-up call for him. He was all worried about bonuses. He was already on 300 grand salary a year. I said, "Remind me again how much you're being paid." I said, "You're getting paid 300,000 a year, and if you miss a bonus for 1 or 2 years, what does that matter?" And I just spoke to him recently, and he's still been getting bonuses every year. You see, the media had created fear because he's listening to too much of the wrong stuff. Now, he needs to know that. He needs to listen to the financial, watch the financial market. But what you've got to do is start sowing positive things. You need to get hold of things that are going to build you up and encourage you. Get around positive people. Accountants and lawyers are great, but they're not always the most positive people. Now, if you're here, that's great. Learn to be positive and encourage your clients. But, you've got to get around people that are going to say, what if? Where are you going? Where do you want to be? Because you start tackling the issues from a different frame set, from a yes face. You see, a former president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, was travelling by horseback with a group of people. They got to a swollen river. And one of the guys in the group said to the president, "Can I get on the back of your horse?" Immediately he said yes. The group all decided that one person on each horse would make it, so they all went. These 2 were last, they got across. The group said to him, "Why did you ask the president for a lift?" He said, "On his face was yes, and on all your faces was no." What message do you send out to your staff, your customers and your family? Is it always negative? See, we deliver bad news to people terribly. When you have a yes face, when you sow positive things in, you start to have a different demeanour in how you deal with people. Number 4, keep learning. Well, it's about learning this month. As I said, 67 years of age, most